You ever hear a story so wild it almost sounds like it can't be real? Well, buckle up, because what happened to me in those days will make you question everything you think you know about love, money, and how the past comes back around sometimes in the craziest ways. I'm talking about the week I went from being broke, desperate, and way too old in my soul for a 25-year-old guy to living in a Beverly Hills mansion married to a woman 3 times my age, except she moved like she had the spirit of a 20-year-old college kid and a secret so big it changed both our lives. And yeah, I know how that sounds, but let me back up a sec. I was born and raised in Detroit, not the shiny suburbs you see on TV. After my dad died suddenly from COVID, it was like the world just dumped every bit of pain and responsibility right on my back. My mom, Gloria, started getting worse. Her diabetes and high blood pressure took a toll on all of us, and the bills just kept coming. We spent everything we had, then borrowed more just to keep her breathing. My little sister, Kesha, she was in her last year at Howard, and those college bills, man, they re brutal, especially when you're out here hustling every job you can get, from DoorDash to graveyard shifts doing security, even swinging a hammer on weekends. That's not living fat surviving, and you know what I mean if you've ever been that close to losing everything. One day, I'm sitting in this tiny soul food spot, counting out singles to see if I could afford both the chicken and the mac and cheese. And that's when I feel someone staring at me. I look up, and there's this black Rolls Royce parked out front, fancy, even for Detroit. The window rolls down, and I see this woman, all diamonds and class, looking at me like she already knows my whole life story. Folks in the restaurant start acting different, respectful. Nervoso, I figured whoever she was, she had power. She steps out, moves like she owns the street, and comes right over. "You're Jamal Washington, right?" she asks, and I nearly drop my wallet. Turns out her name was Mrs. Dorothy Williams, and yeah, she knew everything: me mom's hospital bills, Kesha's tuition, even the loan sharks chasing me. She says, "I can fix it all, but there's one condition. You marry me." Now, I laughed at first, because come on, who says that to a stranger in the middle of a Detroit summer? But she was dead serious, business proposal serious. She offered to pay off her debts, get my mom the best doctors, send Kesha to school without a worry if I'd just agree to marry her legally and properly, with everything above board. I wish I could say I was too proud or too wise to even consider it. But when you're backed into a corner with people threatening your family and your own mother's life hanging in the balance, you start seeing choices where before you saw nothing but brick walls. 2 days after loan sharks banged on our door, the hospital called about cutting my mom off. I dialed Dorothy's number. By the end of the week, I was signing marriage papers at the LA courthouse with more lawyers and big shots watching than I'd ever seen in my life. Now, Beverly Hills, let me tell you, it's another planet. That mansion looked like a palace with marble floors, art worth more than I'll make in 10 lifetimes, and staff that treated Dorothy like a queen, almost like they were afraid of her. The weird thing was, nobody really talked to me like I was a guest who might disappear any minute. And always, there was that second floor with its locked door and security guards. I was told that's for Mrs. Williams only, sir, which, made me want to know what was behind it even more. Our marriage wasn't what most people think of, not at first. She was all business, checking in on my comfort. Never anything personal, and every dinner felt like I'd been invited to a silent auction. I'd catch her looking at me, sometimes with a sadness I couldn't place. Then, late one night, I heard her on the phone, her voice young, full of passion, arguing with someone in a way that didn't match the woman I thought I'd married. Suddenly, nothing about my new life made sense. It was too clean, too easy, like a play where I'd been cast without knowing my lines. That's when Aisha came into the picture. She was Dorothy's personal assistant, young, smart, and way more approachable than anyone else in that house. I asked her how I could spend time alone with my wife. Truth was, I wanted answers. Aisha smiled, like she'd been waiting for me to ask. That night, I finally went into Dorothy's private quarters, not sure if I was walking into a trap or some kind of movie scene. What I found was Dorothy, but not the one I'd known. She transformed, looked younger, moved lighter, radiated this energy that pulled me in. She told me age was just a number, that love made her feel timeless, and for the first time, she opened up. She said, Most men see my money my age. But you, Jamal, you looked at me like a person. I haven't felt that in decades. I admitted I took her offer out of desperation, but being there with her, seeing her walls come down, I wanted to know who she really was. That night changed everything. She shared stories about growing up in Alabama, building her empire from scratch, facing racism and betrayal. I told her about Detroit, my dad, all the ways I tried to survive. For the first time, I saw her not as the powerful Mrs. Williams, but as a woman who'd been hurt, who still hoped for real connection. The distance between us just melted. But the mystery of the locked room wouldn't let go. 3 days later, while Dorothy was away, I couldn't help myself. I found the door unlocked, like fate had left it open for me. Inside, it was a museum of her life photos, documents, letters. And right in the center, a picture of my father, Marcus Washington, young and happy, his arm around a younger Dorothy. Letter after letter, pictures from all over the country, proof they'd been in love. Dorothy walked in, catching me red-handed. She didn't yell, she just looked tired. "You figured out," she said. Turns out, she and my father had been lovers back in the day, planned to marry, but he left her, said he couldn't handle the age gap, accused her of trying to buy his love. She was humiliated, swore revenge. For decades, she watched my family, waited for the right time to make me pay for what my father did. All this to offer. The marriage was her way of getting even. Yeah, I was angry. I felt used. But then she told me something that floored meshed planned on keeping me trapped, dependent, miserable. But in the weeks we spent together, my kindness and respect broke through her bitterness. "Your goodness set me free," she cried. "I came to destroy you, but you made me whole again." And right then, seeing her break down, I realized I could forgive her. I told her the past can chain us, but it doesn't have to define us. After that day, everything changed. Dorothy brought me into her world for real, taught me about business, trusted me, let love not revenge lead the way. When she fell ill 6 months later, I stayed by her side. In her last days, she made me her heir, but what she really gave me was a new sense of purpose and a lesson in forgiveness I'll never forget. Her funeral was huge business leaders, celebrities, even politicians. But the person who stayed by me most was Aisha. Through all the grief, we found comfort in each other, both of us trying to honor Dorothy's legacy by living with heart. Not long after, we got married, turned that mansion into a home, brought my mom and sister to live with us. Kesha graduated Howard, my mom finally got real care, and we used Dorothy's wealth to start programs for struggling families in Detroit. So what's the point of all this? Love can flip the script in ways you can't imagine, even turning revenge into redemption. Sometimes you start off lost or used or angry, but you end up changed not because of money or power, but because of kindness, honesty, and real forgiveness. Now, let me ask you, friends, do you think we ever truly escape the shadows of the past, or are we always just trying to turn hurt into hope, one choice at a time? Drop your thoughts below, because in stories like this, maybe the debate is the real ending.